Hello and thank you very much for pressing play on this tutorial slash crash course on delivering effective presentations. So who's this guy talking about presentations? I've been presenting for a long time. I'm not going to claim I'm the world's greatest presentologist out there, but you know what? I'm going to share today what I've learned that works. And you can actually use this within a smaller period of time than actually going through a whole presentation courseware and get results today. So I also enjoy public speaking and stuff like that. I'm one of the weirdos, and I try not to be boring because let's call it a spade. Presentations, they're the hottest topic in the world. So I'm going to try to keep this lively as we go along. Now, who is this for? Those 4 bullets are self-explanatory, but if you have a challenge of giving presentations where you're feeling nervous in front of your audience, you'd rather go to the dentist, get a root canal thing done, stick around. You may learn a few things that will help you deliver presentations, prepare, and stack the odds in your favor. So, first thing, and this is the most important notion you'll learn today if you've never learned it, never heard this before, you are the presentation. Anything else is support material. When you focus a lot on your slide deck and you don't focus on what you want to discuss, you are missing out. So we're going to focus this discussion today in that line of thought. Remember, you are the presentation. Your audience is there to hear you, not read your slides. Some vocabulary to actually get common notions out of the door. Slide decks. The slide deck is the slides that are the most commonly used that you put into a single document that will be recycled for whatever situation you may need. A presentation is your slide deck that you've personalized for your audience. A pitch deck is when you talk to investors and you want to pitch them, hey, join my company and invest millions of dollars and we'll all be rich. And words that you hear everywhere like PowerPoint, Keynote, Google Slides, they're support tools, they're not presentations. I want to make sure that I'm giving a presentation, I'm not giving a PowerPoint. Very important. Slide decks. You want to put stuff in there that's easily reusable in most situations in there. It's a time-saving kind of tool, and you do not forget this tool at the same time. So, introduction slides, depending on your situation and your audience, if it's internal or external, you customize as usual, but at the core, you want to have those kind of slides pre-made in advance because they're always going to be the same. If you have industry data that you can leverage to explain your point of view, make sure you have those slides, including your certifications. And like if you're an ISO XYZ auditor, put that in there to show that you know and understand the industry. If you have vertical specific slides, that would make a whole lot of sense if you sell to the same common verticals all the time or the same business units within your organization. It's good to have tailored, recyclable, reusable material that always comes up. And from a sales perspective, what are you selling? What's your special sauce? What's your tech? What's your R&D, products, benefits, features, demos, pictures, screenshots, and pricing. Never forget pricing, to have that in your slide deck because it will always come up with a customer. Last but not least, this is a set of slides that are going to be building over time that are your common Q&A slides where you're going to put those typically in your presentation after the thank you slide, and you just know what the customer is going to ask and you anticipate and you're ready. So it's always good practice to have those pre-made. Now, presentations versus slide decks, as mentioned earlier, they're catered to your audience and they're built around expectations. What you expect to gain out of this presentation and what does your audience expect to gain out of this presentation, that's where you start. And who are you talking to? Are you talking to technical specialists? That's a different set of slides. If you're going to be talking to business execs, that's a different set of slides, etc. How long you got? will define what you put in your content, as well as your demo part. Like if you do a demo with a computer screen, or you have to bring a unit in place and actually start it off in front of everybody, factor all those in your time constraints. Custom slides, big win. Love custom slides. Make content specific for your audience. They will feel a bit more taken seriously by the presenter, and they will gain an understanding that you understand them, which is really important. Now, pitch decks I'm not touching in this tutorial because it would take a whole lot of time, and frankly it's a completely different topic, but I encourage you to go read slide decks. They're all these ones are found online, especially YouTube's a classic, Facebook's a classic. Imagine pitching to investors. Yeah, we're gonna let people store videos online for free. Yeah, so go read that. It's an interesting read. Slide content, because we're all gonna make slides. That's how the universe works in general. Although I've successfully done presentations with whiteboards, if you are comfortable with your subject matter and your audience, you can dare offer. Do you want to you guys want to get the PowerPoint Classic, or do you want me to whiteboard this? And let your audience decide if you're comfortable enough to offer that choice. It's a bit more of a tightrope situation if you whiteboard, but it can be a whole lot of fun. And your slides need to be light. Please, pictures are more interesting than words than usual, and do not type your speech into slides, please. These slides I'm doing here are meant to be as a leave behind, and reference material, so you're going to find a few ones that actually defy this notion, but in general, this is the rule, right? Do not type your speech in the slides, please. Now, you want to deliver knockouts. You want to make sure that you hook your audience and get what you want out of that presentation. And we live in an ADD age where everything is instantaneous. Everything online is just add water and poof, there we go, right? You want to find a video on YouTube on XYZ, boom, it's there, right? So your audience is kind of expecting that subconscious kind of quick thing to happen. It's just how we're wired now these days because of social media. And typically your presentation should not last more than 20 minutes. It's just the normal attention span that, out of experience, I found works when I do presentations, but I make sure I deliver my knockouts in the first 2 minutes, because that's where you have the highest level of attention, especially in webinars. And you want to plan time for your Q&A. And before I forget, what I've done for a friend of mine is I took his slide deck, revised it, and really the one thing I've done is to convert this very linear slide deck. I took his customer slide from the last-ish slide and I put it in slide number 3. And his organization has all those great brand names that he sells to, and he has his customers. And his results have gone up significantly from presentations, better engagement, more questions, more attention, more follow-ups, because we have 2 minutes to really get our audience on board. Now, tell relatable stories. Features and speeds are nice. Stay away from all the boring facts to some extent. Tell relatable things. Here's how we delivered this solution to customer XYZ that have a similar problem to yours. Customers want to hear that, demonstrate that. Don't focus on this one goes at this speed. It's kind of boring. And always remind yourself it's all about them, and research your audience. If you can get to know who's in the audience beforehand, just prepare and know what to expect from a questions perspective and what content you can expect them to benefit from. Again, prepare. Rehearse. That's a personal thing. Everybody has their own style. Talk to a mirror. I just talk to my computer screen, and it's okay. Close your office door, and people will think you're crazy, but that's fine. Everybody's used to me doing crazy things. Group presentations, you do want to rehearse them in group and make sure everybody knows what they're doing when in what sequence. It's good to practice that 2, 3, 4 times before going in. And body language is a topic that very few individuals will tackle, but is really important because when you walk in the room and how you present yourself physically will communicate certain pieces of information, and your audience is going to read how you stand up and where your shoulders are at. It's all part of that basic how we understand people. I'm not going to go into human psychology and stuff because I'm not an expert, but there's a power posing TED talk by Amy Cuddy that discusses how your body language impacts, and how your body positioning will impact your mindset and vice versa. It's really interesting. If you've never read that, you may end up going to do some power poses like flex in the bathroom stalls before giving a presentation from then on. Believe it or not, it works. Dress to win. Treat your audience with respect and dress one level above typically than your audience. If your audience is a bunch of execs, you want to wear a suit and tie. That's classic, right? Because it's always easier to take off the necktie. In my case, I use that as an example because I wear neckties, than to apologize for not having said necktie. What to bring? So you're going to go out and give a presentation, what to bring. If you've got, bring something for them to take notes. Enable them, empower them to take those notes and ask questions, right? Printed copies if it's appropriate, and I typically like to give them at the end because people read them and they don't pay attention. Then you give your presentation. Samples, demo units, etc. Again, when appropriate. And I have a couple of paranoia tools I like to have around. Second laptop if I'm not doing something solo, and having a USB key with the content not stored in the cloud. Assume you get no Wi-Fi, no mobile reception, nothing. Assume your laptop will fail and bring a USB key with the content. That's good paranoia. If you're going to be doing food and drink, don't go for the cheap stuff. Go for the good stuff because it's all about image, perception, enjoyment. And if you're doing lunch training sessions, do some good catering. I used to teach Microsoft reps in a previous life about the products I was selling so they can bring me in their account. And I would always find a good caterer to bring lunch in. It costs more, but you get so much more because they pay attention, they're happier. And like, oh no, not a freaking sandwich again. And they will come back. If you treat people well, you treat them with respect, you treat them seriously, you treat them nicely, they will come back every single time they can when you show up to do those kind of sessions. And dare be original. I mean, it's a personal thing, and relax. Okay? Presentations are fun, and if you can find yourself a few things that can be a tad original to lower your level of stress and at the same time raise interest in what you're doing, do it. Humor is more than okay. Boring, bad, funny, good. I'm going to leave it at that. It's pretty much obvious, but you can not cross the line, but you can actually do funny things. And in certain situations, I like to use gimmicks, especially in public speaking or large audiences. Like if you're going to go out and train an audience of 40 individuals on something to sell your stuff type environment, prizes, raffle tickets, food items, whatever your audience is into type situation, bring some, keep them to pay attention. And I like to bring stress balls as audience weapons. I do this when I do public speaking. I will bring 2, 3, 4 stress balls or doggy balls because I can find them cheap that go squeak, squeak. And I give them to the audience. And I enable the audience to throw them back at me. Yeah. I give the audience weapons to keep me on time, to if I go too fast, because if you're listening to this, I have a natural tendency of speaking quickly. And also if they have questions and I'm not clear, throw something at me. You're going to get a heck of a reaction out of your audience and they'll pay attention because some of them will want to troll them really hard. That's why I use really soft stress balls. and do whatever works for you. I've seen scenarios where people go out of their ways and bring stuff to entertain, special drinks or this or that, and that's cool. And my wife actually attended a presentation once on social media marketing, and the speaker had her anxiety dog with her on stage. That is absolutely fine. But that speaker also sat on her dog that she forgot that she left on the chair in the panel, and that's not good. But, poor dog, but it's okay to be outside of the mold. That's my whole point. Now, when you go and deliver your content, it's always a form of dialogue. There's a lot of perception that presentations are one-way streets. It's one too many or many too many, depending of how many presenters and how many in the audience, because you want questions. You want to have that dialogue with your audience, and you control the conversation as much as possible, and you can tell your audience, like, I'll get back to you on these questions in 3 slides, right? It's perfectly acceptable, and you sound prepared. You want to keep an eye on time, or have somebody keep an eye on time for you, because we're all on a schedule. Read the body language. Like, I put this funny picture of people sleeping in the presentation by design. It's something you get better with time. You need to read how people are sitting in their chairs. If they go like, well, you got a problem. If you go like, well, you got something good. Keep your cool. Smile, smile, smile. Never be frustrated. Always smile. Keep your cool. And some of the tools of the trade. Have you noticed that we haven't talked about slides really that much, and PowerPoint and all that stuff? Well, this is where we're going to talk about these things, because they're ultimately secondary in the presentation you're going to give. But you still need to do it right, because image has a lot of value. Use a clicker if you don't have close proximity access to a laptop or something like that you're using for your slides. Click, that's phenomenal, but make sure it works before you go in, and always have spare batteries. Software. This is where we're going to talk PowerPoint very briefly. I use PowerPoint personally because it comes with my Office suite. I've used Google Slides. Good tool. Comes with your G Suite account. Keynote if you're on an Apple type environment. But there's also Prezi, Canva, and Beautiful AI, and there's other ones which bring a different spin on the boring PowerPoint look and feel that I'm using right now. I need to explore those one day. But they're good tools to stand out and be different, attract, and keep attention. Last but not least, you want to look professional, and if you don't have the in-house graphics capabilities to actually get a template design, you can actually either buy one and hack and slash it to your heart's content, or have a person do it for you. And those 4 organizations out there, which are online, they're online stores really. You can find templates, you can find people, you can get it done at a very reasonable price. So don't deprive yourself of looking professional. Thank you very much for bearing with me on this topic. I hope it wasn't too boring, and I hope you learned something. If you need anything, best thing is to drop me an email, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much, and have a great day.